I was listening to a TikTok today, and the guy was talking about the happiest people follow these 4 principles. Number 1, and this is following these principles every day. What that means is principles and discipline and patience. And so I thought I'd do a video on it. And number 1 is faith, having faith. And one thing that I do, basically, is do the Psalms and the Proverbs every day. I either read them or I go on AI and mention the day. For an example, if it's the 28th, I say the 28th. Please provide the Proverbs and the Psalms 28 in layman's terms. Then AI spits them out and then basically gives me the meaning, what they mean. And I always ask for, how can I use those top 3? How can I use those top 3 in my day-to-day activities? So that's number 1 of the principles of happiness. Number 2 is family. Well, I have a very large family. I got 10 brothers and sisters, and we range in age, 8 boys and 3 girls, from 79 to age 60. Can you believe that? And my father is 100. My mother passed away in 2020 at 94. So think about that. I have a big family, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But guess what? I'm in my 70s, so I have 70 years worth of history of family connections and experiences. Not all of them were heartfelt, but at the same time, we're still brothers and sisters. The parents kept us all together because they had the maturity of being the greatest generation and suffered for us and sacrificed for us, just like America did during World War II and the Depression. Changed a lot of things, you know? So, the number 3 principle of happiness, daily happiness, is friends. And keep in contact with them. If you haven't contacted them for a while, call them. Let them know. You know, let them know that you're thinking of them. Let them know that you care. You know, all that stuff. You know, and then, and you know, as you get older, it's less and less friendships and less experiences with your friends because everybody's got some issue with their health, some issue with their finances, some issues with their children, their families, their jobs, their careers, because that's a big deal, especially a man. Like in my case, I always wanted to be the best at something, you know, so I worked at it. And perfection is not what it's all about. I'm learning that. Excellence might be an obsession. Excellence may be deadly. I know people that harm themselves because things weren't perfect, or they lost something, depression, whatever, divorce, their jobs, their kids, you know? So you got faith, family, friends, and the last principle, listening to this TikTok, was purpose. I would call it legacy, but purpose is actually pretty good because as you get older, things change. And you start getting to the point where you need to change. You ever see these athletes that retire, what they do? It's either they change, make the change, or adapt. Let's call it adapt. They become announcers or whatever, or they get in trouble. Something happens. And a lot of that is because of leadership, of not having family, not having friends, you know, not having faith. So that's what I wanted to comment on today was as I age, I start going through the acceptance and adaptation of excellence isn't possible. However, you can do the right thing. And my next chapter or last chapter is going to be, how could I enhance, how can I empower myself with faith, family, friends, and find that additional purpose that God wants me to have. It's not easy, man. It's not easy. And why am I filming this the way I am? Well, I'm at peace. It's a Sunday morning. I've done my prayers. I've done my fitness. And I started thinking about that TikTok. And I said to myself, you know what? I can relate to this. Because I am unhappy. I am depressed at times. I'm definitely lonely, because everything's changed. My kids have grown. My grandchildren have their lives. I'm a single person. But you know what I still have? I have my faith. And in fact, my faith is getting deeper and deeper because that's what I rely on every day. I do the Proverbs and the Psalms. I even go to Mass off and on just to relate to God. I have family. I'm close to half of my family because they get me. They understand me. My children, they know who I am. My grandchildren, they're starting to know who Papa Rock is. And to me, I want to know them too as I age and as I grow, because I know everybody's got some type of purpose in life, whatever God's got. And I've been very fortunate and blessed to have a fantastic career, faith, family, friends. And now I'm looking for that next purpose, whatever it's going to be. But guess what? You got to be disciplined. You got to be patient. But look at this, how peaceful it is on a Sunday morning that I just happen to be able to talk about it, So those are the principles. And I want to thank whoever put that on TikTok. Because, you learn things on TikTok, not just YouTube. You learn them on TikTok. Now, is this paradise? You know what my father said when I moved to Florida 20 plus years ago? He said, Rock, there's no paradise, but this is the closest thing to it. So here I am on YouTube trying to find my purpose. I already found my God. I know who my family is. My family knows who I am. I have friends for many, many years, lifelong friends. But we just don't have the health and the resources to continue on those relationships physically. Mentally, we have them. Emotionally, we have them. We talk. Sometimes financially, you can't do things like we did when we were working. And in the purpose, you will find your purpose. Once you listen to God, God will give you that opportunity. So I just wanted you to be aware. I wanted you to be aware that these 4 principles are meaningful and I can relate to. So it's close to the end of the year. I would call it fourth quarter, in business, because I've been in business for 50 years. I've had 8 different careers. That's right, 8 different careers in a 50-year business career. I've been a dad, I've been a brother, I've been a son, I've been an owner, I've been a friend, I've been an asshole, I've been a husband, I've been divorced, but guess what? I'm healthy and I'm hopeful that I'm going to have a safe and happy landing, whatever that is. So I just wanted to pass that on to you, because most of my YouTube I develop for my grandchildren and my generations, to let them know as you age, because my father at 100 and my mother have shown me how to age gracefully. I've been very fortunate. So keeping those 4 principles to be happy on a daily basis. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. But you know what? This isn't too bad, is it? Guess what? I've always been the type of person to know more, to grow more, to excel, whatever that's going to be. But God's basically has shared with me to slow down, to give back my wisdom and experience like my parents have done for me, and my grandparents and so on. So as I mentioned before, how many people have been raised by baby boomers along with 10 brothers and sisters with a strong Catholic faith, a family business, which were opportunities for me, friends, awesome friends that I worked with that became friends, even beyond business, not just acquaintances. Sports were fantastic because you develop a lot of friendships and chemistry. You can relate in sports. You get to learn how to win and lose in many different activities that you grow with. So now the purpose isn't boats and fixed overhead, beautiful homes and so on. I'm not into that. I was raised to live within your means, and whatever else you have, pass on to others. And that's actually fulfilling because God is helping me help others. And that's a great feeling, you know? You hear that aircraft overhead? That's another gift I received. Not to fly when I don't want to fly. That's the other benefit of being so-called adapting to retirement. You can pick and choose what you want to do, where you want to spend your time and your peace. That's what I call it. Like my father would say, Rock, you don't need that. You need that like you need a hole in the head. As I was trying to achieve other fast tracks, ways of fulfilling my life. But God's done it now, and now I'm at the point where I could relax. I could really choose now. And so I'm going to limit that to faith, family, friends, and purpose. So I got the top 3 pretty well set in my 70s. Now I want to adapt to my next purpose, which would be number 9. I'm looking forward to it. That's the reason why I'm here, looking at saying how grateful I am and appreciative I am that I've lived the life that I've lived. So, Rock, don't feel sorry for yourself. I don't. There's times when I really want to get to the finish line quicker than God wants me to. So, I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, my father would say to me, Rock, just make sure you do the right thing. And my words are, keep your promises. If you promise something, do it. No matter how much it hurts, no matter how much sacrifice there is. That's the reason why God gave you that opportunity to give back. It doesn't hurt that much. Giving is receiving. Believe me, being generous is a good thing because you have the opportunity to do it, especially if God gave you the skill set to be able to actually do these things. So I'll talk to you soon. God bless. Don't forget, I have my pillars, but now I have these 4 simple principles of being happy daily, and you work on them. You work on your faith. You work on your hope. You work on your family. You work on your friends. And then God will provide the purpose, because that all wrapped into one small little bow, B-O-W, is that. It's a great combination. God bless. This is Rock. I'll talk to you soon.